It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
Don't be disrespectful. Don't be disrespectful. You better be careful.
What did I do wrong?
Oh, man. Not at 5 a.m. on the pregame show with Joe Spadoni. Can you start me with the John Sterling drop? I'm going to get emotional. You know what? F it. I don't care if there's a play-in tournament tonight involving the Golden State Warriors, and we are the flagship of the Golden State Warriors. You're home for all things Dubs right here on 95.7 The Game. Warriors-Kings play-in tonight. Golden One Center in Sacramento. Be there or be square. We will have coverage the entire day leading up to the game, during the game, and after the game right here on 95.7 The Game. But we got to start with the news that I multiple people sending it to me yesterday. Sam Lubman, Kyle Madsen, Ernie Chavez, shout out Ernie, John Sterling, legendary voice of the New York freaking Yankees, is retiring, effective immediately. It breaks my heart. I mean, this is a guy who has become synonymous with 95.7 The Game. Thank you. And I know Steiny is happy. He's probably the one person that's extremely happy that he's hanging it up. But that guy is so old school baseball. And we had, when I say we, I mean the show, had him on last year on the Morning Roast, Bonte and Shasky interviewing him before the season started. Because remember, the Giants opened up their season last year in Yankee Stadium. Remember, it was the whole Aaron Judge thing. Of course, Aaron Judge hits the home run off Logan Webb after the entire organization tried enticing him. But then we come to find out they never really thought they were going to get him in the first place. And then it was all just a ploy. Aaron Judge, he only came out here so he can use it as leverage, all that. But we had him on, and it was just a great conversation about the history of the game and where it was, where it's gone, and where it's going to be. And John Sterling is a major part of that. I mean, he is the broadcasting voice of the New York freaking Yankees. All right? And now he's hanging them up. You know what? Throughout the show, we're going to be hitting some of those John Sterling cuts. Because why not? It's one of my favorites. One of the best in the biz. 86 years young. God bless him. And according to Michael Kay, who does the television broadcast for the Yes Network for the Yankees, it's not health reasons. It's not sick, not anything like that. He just feels like it is time. He's not really traveling with the team. He's an old man. All right? Give him some slack. So John Sterling. Yes, I dedicated the first 4 minutes to him because he deserves it. I need my latest one because the last one that we got was in regards to Juan Soto. Oh, did I spell it right? Wonderful. I think I did spell it like that when I put it into the system. There we go. This was the one that is basically going to be the last of the Sterling isms, if you will, because Juan Soto, and as you know, John Sterling likes to get creative with his home run calls. This was his most recent one and the newest in his collection of many.
He's wonderful, marvelous.
Thank you. All time. I heard Wayne Randazzo, who does the television broadcasting for the Los Angeles Angels, he did one, "It is high, it is far, it is gone," in honor of him yesterday. So shout out the great John Sterling. All right. 5 minutes is up. Warriors, Kings tonight. Rivalry renewed. Can the Warriors go on this run? This is where it starts. We've been talking about it for weeks now. Do the Warriors have a run in them? You know, Sam and I were talking behind the glass yesterday. And he's like, when this season's over, we're all going to look so freaking foolish talking about whether this team could go on a run. And part of me agrees, but also part of me is we keep saying this team can go on a run because of one man and one man only. That's Stephen Curry. And that's the guy I'm looking at tonight to do what he did in Game 7 last year in Sacramento. And that was put up a 50 burger. Can he do that again this year? Does he need to do that? These teams are different. And if you're just joining us here, 888-957-9570, that's the number to get involved. Call or text the Comcast Business text line. Check that, the Xfinity Mobile text line, 888-957-9570. Also hit us up on Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Go ahead and search 95.7 The Game. Like and subscribe. We are streaming, once again, all day long, leading you up to the Warriors-Kings matchup. And man, this is going to be one that I don't think I know what's going to happen. A lot of people think, and you can say Spadoni, no blank, no one knows what's going to happen. It's a one game, anything. I get that, but I think the majority of people are taking the Warriors in this. I have not heard one people say, I think you got to worry about the Kings. Everyone's pretty confident at the station. And that gives me a little slight pause, because when has anyone been confident in this team all season long? I feel like when we get confident about this team, they take an L to like the Raptors, right? Or to some bad team, to a beleaguered Memphis Grizzlies team with no Marcus Smart or John Morant. You can't sleep on any team going forward, especially not a Sacramento Kings team that is hungry to knock you out of the tournament and end your season, just like you did to them last year. So 7 o'clock tip tonight at the Golden One Center, Warriors, Kings. Our Warriors live coverage starts at 6 o'clock with the great Evan Giddings, who has been on assignment last week, calling some AAA baseball, single A, double A, one of the A's. Not the Oakland A's. Took the L last night against the St. Louis Cardinals. Sonny Gray returning to the Bay. Always got a soft spot for Sonny Gray. Those great A's teams on the early 2010s, taking on those Detroit Tigers. Bartolo Colon was on that squad. Always got a soft spot for Bartolo Colon. And he's got a lot of soft spots too on his tummy. We got the Lakers. Is that a one, Sammy? Thank you.
Oh, no, just shouting out Bartolo.
I love. He played for damn near every team. You can't just not love Bartolo Colon. His home run with the New York Mets is only in his career, might be one of the greatest of all time. Who was on the call there too? Gary Cohen? Is that his name, right?
I believe so.
Gary Cohen, correct.
Last night was Sonny Gray's 100th win, I believe, wasn't it?
And you know what? It's fitting that it's at the Coliseum.
At the Coliseum,
That's
just
awesome.
like we all drew it up.
Exactly. Another trade that the A's swindled the Yankees for. That and Frankie Montas. But back to the Warriors and back to the plan, because it's not the first game taking place tonight. No. Lakers, Pelicans getting tipped off at 4:30 today. So we'll still be doing shows. Willard and Diz will still be on the air while the Lakers and Pelicans are going on it. And by the way, the stupidest narrative I'm hearing right now, and Steiny, he's talking about this with me. He's like, Spadoni, you know what the Lakers should do? And LeBron, he's known to play chess while everyone's playing checkers. Lakers are going to throw this game. Why? Well, they don't want to play the Nuggets. They want to play the Thunder. Why? They have to play another elimination game. Oh, they could beat the Warriors. They could beat the Kings. Really? Because they've lost, 3 straight to the Warriors and 4 straight to the Kings? Hell, didn't they get swept by the Kings last year, I want to say? Sabonis is 10-0 against Anthony Davis, so I don't know. I don't feel great about either of those matchups if I'm the Los Angeles Lakers. You take care of business tonight in New Orleans, and you'll take your chances against the Denver Nuggets. And again, I keep saying this. Give me them in the first round. My best player on the team, whether you think it's Anthony Davis or LeBron James, they're going to have a lot of wear and tear if you meet them again down the road. Whether that's in the Western Conference Finals, it would be in the Western Conference Finals. So no, we saw how that worked out last year after handling business against the Grizzlies and then having kind of a grinded out 6-game matchup against the Golden State Warriors. 4 tight games, but 4 games you lost. And they got swept. And yes, it was the greatest sweep in the history of basketball.
The Lakers absolutely were terrific in going down in this series. I'm not sure I've seen a more impressive performance in a sweep ever.
Thank you, Brian Windhorst. Still one of the funniest cuts I've... I just had to keep that one. But please, miss me with the, we're going to throw a game because we want to avoid... Like if the New Orleans Pelicans did that really tonight, like think about the Pelicans doing that. Oh, we think we can go on a run, but we don't want to play the defending champs. I mean, you're going to throw a game at home? And I get it. And more in this situation, be the Lakers throwing it. It doesn't make sense to me. If you think otherwise, 888-957-9570. In fact, my question for today is just give me a prediction. This Friday, what is the play-in matchup going to look like? Because there'll be one more. Is it going to be Warriors-Pelicans? Is it going to be Warriors-Lakers? Is it going to be Kings-Pelicans? Is it going to be Kings-Lakers? 888-957-9570. That is what I want to know from you lovely people at 5:12 a.m. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni, year of our Lord 2024. And it is April 16th. Less than 2 weeks away from the NFL draft, and I can't wait. Cannot wait. WNBA draft was last night, and just a little... I need to get my draft drop ready. I don't know where it is. But I'm excited. Caitlin Clark, by the way, number 1 overall to the Indiana Fever. You know, I can get the entire... You know what? Since I had spent so much time talking about it, might as well pull up all the results. And apparently all the results were on the money for all the mock drafts. I mean, I've personally never watched the WNBA draft. I'm going to keep it a buck. It was on yesterday. I had really nothing else to watch other than Giants baseball against the Florida Marlins. Hey, big win. Although I don't know what Bob Melvin was doing late in that game. There was like some sort of screw-up mistake. They didn't know whether they wanted Taylor Rogers, Camilo Doval. Well,
what I think happened was...
They wanted Doval, right?
Yeah,
but
so
he
I think
wasn't
what happened
warmed
is
up.
Bob went out and called for Doval, but Taylor Rogers came in, and Bob's like, no, you're not Doval.
Skip Schumacher, manager of the Marlins, did not like that.
No, he was not happy at all. So Taylor's like, what am I supposed to do? So then Doval's getting some extra warm-up pitches, and I think that's where Skip got irritated. Skip's like, no, he came in, he has to pitch. Stop,
Which is what I thought, too. I was like, shouldn't he have to pitch? But Bob got a little okey-doke there.
Because I saw Rogers in the bullpen before Doval, so it makes sense. Oh, you're going to go to Taylor Rogers here. But then Skip's like, this is ridiculous, and he was going at Laz Diaz, the umpire, and he's got his own history of being an umpire. So it was, a little bit of gamesmanship.
One might say, oh, man, come on.
Don't be disrespectful.
No, I don't want the Stephen A. I got fat fingers, Sam. I can't hit my buttons today. That was setting up for my...
What did I do wrong?
That's what it was setting up for. I
see Bob and Gabe chatting before the game?
I did see that. Bo Mel and Gabe Kapler.
Obviously, Bob, what you want to do is you got to consider the consideration every day with the lineup.
I'll give you a 3 for that. I honestly...
No Willard's Gabe Kapler.
No, well, Willard has the deepest voice of the station, so it's not even close. Outside of Nick Friedel, who is our friend, of course. We still claim Nick. I cannot think of a polar opposite of two guys talking to each other. Like, can you imagine Gabe Kapler and Bob Melvin going on a night on the town? I cannot.
I want to know, what's the one thing they probably connect on?
Probably wine. I can see Bob Melvin being a wino. He grew up in the Bay Area. I can see that. But other than that, nothing.
Just listening to them just talk about wine. Gabe just trying to think of the most obscure wine he's ever heard.
Totally. He's like, I was just at this club. I just had this great Cubano sandwich, and it was tremendous.
I had this great Malbec at the speakeasy last night in Brickell. You really have to know where it is in order to find it. It's the greatest place ever. Something like that.
The Chilean sea bass is phenomenal. Of course. I can go for some Chilean sea bass right now. Apparently, and I learned this, Chilean sea bass isn't even a real thing. Like they just call it that. It's not even like, it's like not even a sea bass or something, or it's not Chilean. It's all fake news. It just sounds fancy. So they marketed a fish that was, not, it's a Patagonian toothfish. That's what it is. It's not even it's not a thing.
What kind of world do we live in? We can't even trust our Chilean sea bass anymore.
It's not even a sea bass. Fake news. And this is you know why they do it? Because if you look up this fish, the Patagonian toothfish, it's the ugliest thing you've ever seen. Like it looks like a crossbreed between a Chihuahua and a fish mated. And that is what came to be. So no wonder that they wanted to market it as something else, because the fish is hideous. But it probably tastes, and it has, because I've had it before, it tastes delicious. But it's not a sea bass. It's a Patagonian toothfish. Shout out Patagonia and all you hipsters out there.
Don't judge a fish by its cover.
There you go. Or its scales. Good morning on the Xfinity mobile text line. 510. Did you really say the great A's teams? I think those A's teams were great. Is that a hot take from the 2010s? Is great a stretch? Sorry, 510. The good A's teams. Does that make you feel better? I mean, I'm sorry. Both of those went 5 games, and you ended up getting hosed against one of the greatest pitchers in the history of the game, Justin Verlander. I don't know what to tell you. But those teams were very good and very fun. Feel better? 510 on the Xfinity mobile text. And that's right. I was going to do the WNBA draft breakdown because it was Caitlin Clark go number 1 overall to the Indiana Fever. Then you got Cameron Brink, number 2 overall out of Stanford. So there you go. Got drafted number 2. Why does it tell me the names of these places where they're getting drafted to? I only know Caitlin Clark. LA Sparks, number 2. Thank you. Chicago Sky, number 3. Camila Cardoso of South Carolina. And then all the way down, Angel Reese. Where's she going to? This thing is horrible. Hey, WNBA draft. Get with the program. Put the team, not the logo, next to you. Chicago Sky. There you go. That's all I'm doing now. Because the rest of the players, don't really care. Not yet. Maybe I'll care. Maybe it'll translate over. And maybe, just maybe, my interest will be piqued with Caitlin Clark, the Angel Reeses, what have you, later on. Maybe. But for now, I'll leave it at that. NFL draft, the big boy draft, next Thursday. And I can't... What are the 49ers going to do? Brandon Ayuk. I heard Adam Schefter talking yesterday, and we'll get that sound a little bit later. It's all about the money for Brandon Ayuk. He'd love to play in San Francisco, but if someone else wants to pay him more, he'll gladly leave, is the message I heard. Now, that's negotiation 101. I want to go where I'm wanted, yada, yada, yada. If they're going to pay me, absolutely, right? So, obviously, you would like for your star wide receiver to say, I love San Francisco. I'd love to stay here. That's my priority. But that's not always the case. Not in negotiations, because you're giving them all the leverage for the team. Oh, I'm not taking a hometown discount. I want to get paid. Worked for Debo. Should work for me. I was second team All-Pro last year. I was one of the best wide receivers in football. I should want to get paid. It's as simple as that. 888-957-9570. Your thoughts on the play-in matchup tonight. Warriors, Kings, Golden One Center. Tip-off 7 o'clock right here on 95.7 The Game. You're home for postseason basketball, we're calling it. I think we came to an agreement yesterday. It's not the playoffs technically, but we're calling it the postseason because it is after the regular season. Now, yesterday, Ramona Shelburne, who is the senior NBA writer for ESPN, we love Ramona Shelburne. She's always been good to us here at 95.7 The Game. Momo, as some call her in the afternoon show. Let's call her Ramona. She joined the afternoon show, Willard and Dibbs, and was talking about a lot of things. And this one caught my interest. Ramona talking about the Warriors going big game hunting this offseason. Take a listen.
I'm curious about whether they take a big swing, because they certainly have the ammo to do it. They have the draft picks, they have the young players, they have a couple contracts they could trade, and there's some very interesting trade candidates out there. Like, they are always in the market for stars. There are going to be some stars this summer that might be available. I'm thinking more front court rather than backcourt because you already have Steph and Clay. I assume Klay Thompson will figure something out. I just can't see the Warriors without him. But yeah, I could be wrong. Maybe Orlando throws a bag at him. I don't know. I think Clay stays. And then the big question is Chris Paul. Like, Chris Paul's been great for them when he's been healthy. I know they really like him. If he comes back, how does he come back? You know, does he come back with the contract he's under? You know, do they renegotiate something? Is there an opportunity to get him for a lesser cost? Like, what would he think of that? Does he have a market elsewhere? Like, that's all. Those are the two that I have the biggest questions about. Like, what do they do going forward? But to me, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they go big game hunting again.
And what would that look like? Mark follows up.
Some front court stars might be available. Do tell. We want names.
I know you do. I'm gonna let that one sit. You're gonna have to figure that out. You're gonna have to figure that one out.
Well,
but one of them we've already reported on. One of them they tried to get LeBron at the deadline.
Okay. LeBron? Other than that, who else? Speaking of LeBron James and the Warriors and Stephen Curry, Adrian Wojnarowski yesterday, Woj, as some call him, talking Olympics. Yes, that's this summer in France. ESPN sources. USA Basketball is finalizing its 2024 Paris Olympics roster with Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, Devin Booker, Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Drew Holiday, Bam Adebayo, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Stephen Curry. It's a pretty good team. And why this year is most interesting to me, and that's actually a very good mix of youth and vets. And I like that. It's kind of like that redeem team. Kobe being one of the older guys. You had Dwayne Wade. You had LeBron there. Chris Bosh. Chris Paul. You had all these guys. It was just awesome to see. You had Coach K coaching them up. And obviously Steve Kerr, the coach now, in this cycle, taking over for Greg Popovich. But this isn't going to be a layup. Even with all those guys I just named. Hell, we got Joel Embiid coming over here. He's got citizenship, and he's claiming USA this summer, which I'm all in on. Hell yeah. You got some guys there, including Joel Embiid, that's got some injury history, though. So if you're a fan of that NBA team, maybe you're like, like Anthony Davis, okay. You just had back spasms after you just got nudged a little bit by Larry Nance Jr. LeBron's almost 40, but he's like, hey, this is my last time doing this. He's going to go out. Steph Curry has not been a part of this. He wants to get that medal. It matters to him. And I think it matters to the fans. And maybe I should ask, does it matter to you? 888-957-9570. Because I was listening to Willard and Dibbs yesterday when this news broke, and Mark was like, I don't want my favorite player to be a part of this. I was like, I think it's different for Steph because he hasn't been part of this before. And maybe there's the difference between a Warrior fan and a Steph fan. And, you know, Mark was making the argument, in the grand scheme of things, does an Olympic gold medal really matter? I was like, I think it matters to those guys, and it matters to me. Like, say what you want about the Olympics and whether it's, you know, kind of a shell of itself when it comes to people and the eyeballs and, you know, pride in your country. But I do take pride in that. You know, the past 100 years, there's been a lot that's happened in America. Good, bad, and the ugly. No question. But there was a point where winning mattered. And being the first to do something, whether that was, you know, getting on the moon, solving the next equation, the next, you know, big step in, you know, medical technology. We always prided ourselves in being the first. And that came to sports as well. And then we lost our way after the Dream Team. The Dream Team, you know what? We flexed our muscles. Michael Jordan, and I say we because, yes, hell yeah, I'm an American brother. Come on. We flexed our muscles. We put Michael Jordan out there. Hey, we got our guy Chris Mullin. Hell, we could brought in Christian freaking Leitner from college. A lot of people thought it should have been Shaq, but Leitner, hey, to his credit, one of the greatest, if not the greatest college player in the history of the sport. And by the way, one of the great ESPN 30 for 30s, I hate Christian Leitner. We had all of them there. MJ, Bird, everyone. And we flexed our muscles and we showed everyone we were the best. Then we had a lull, and then we got the Redeem Team. And then once again, we did that. And we haven't lost a gold medal since. And for Steph Curry, he wants to be a part of that. And I think there is something cool when it's KD, LeBron, Steph, and it's going to be in the host country of France, and that team is stacked. You guys just see what Victor Wembanyama said, who just had one of the greatest rookie seasons in the history of the NBA, maybe one of the greatest. I mean, this guy's unbelievable. He's an alien out there on the floor. And he's going to be playing for Team France. Rudy Gobert, the Stifle Towers, we'll call them. He's only scratched the surface of what he could be in the NBA. He said he is only at 15% of his capabilities when it comes to his NBA career. That is scary. Now, do I believe him on that? Can he be 85% better than his current self? I hope not if I'm a Warriors fan, a Lakers fan, anyone in the West, because that scares the hell out of me. I mean, I just saw what he did single-handedly against the Denver Nuggets, the defending champs, and he was all over their asses. He cost them a shot at the number 1 overall seed. Not that Denver really cares that much, but that's a problem. Then you got guys in Slovenia, the Luka Doncic's of the world, the Serbians, the Jokic's. You can never sleep on España. They always got dudes left and right. So Canada, Wiggins, Dylan Brooks, Jamal Murray. It is more competitive than ever in the sport of basketball worldwide. In this sport, and I'm excited to see it. And we got our best going up against the world's best. Let's freaking go, baby. It's a pregame show with Joe Spadoni, 888-957-9570. What are your thoughts on the Olympic roster getting announced yesterday by Adrian Wojnarowski? And also, what are your thoughts on the game tonight? Warriors, Kings, what's the matchup going to be this Friday? That's my question to you at 888-957-9570. Also on YouTube and Twitch, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Is it going to be Lakers and Warriors? Is it going to be Kings and Lakers? Is it going to be Warriors, Pelicans, Kings, Pelicans? 888-957-9570. That's my question to you on the pregame show. Joe Spadoni on 95.7 The Game.
It's Truck Month at your local Ram dealer with great deals on trucks that work hard.
hot take to just love your country. I want to see my athletes that represent my country. I want to see the best of them go against the other country's best. Right? And sooner or later, and I truly believe this, a lot of people don't, a lot of people feel like the United States of America will never be a powerhouse when it comes to soccer. And yeah, we call it soccer here. We'll never compete with the likes of, I don't know, España, France, England, Italy, Brazil, Argentina, all those squads. We're coming. We're coming hard, we're coming soon, we're coming fast when it comes to our development in the sport of soccer in this country. Best believe that. That is the final infinity stone in our gauntlet here in the United States. It's capturing and dominating the sport of soccer. And maybe not in my lifetime, maybe when I'm an old man. It's coming, though. I'll tell you that right now. Best believe that. And once that happens, you thought we were insufferable now when it came to winning? Not even close after that. Once we win the World Cup, and we will, insufferable. Top to bottom. And hell, I hope it comes against England. God, I hope so. See, come on, isn't this fun? It's sports fun, people. People take it too seriously. It gets geopolitical. And I get it. Sports, politics, Olympics, this stuff it intersects. Obviously. You just think of what Jesse Owens did way back when, right? The 1936 Olympics in Berlin. And tapping that ass out in then Nazi Germany. Sports intersect. It does. Real life, that's real life stuff right there. But this is I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about winning. It's always about the winning. And all the different storylines is fun, but when it comes to the big three here, football, basketball, and there is flag football in the Olympics this year, by the way. And if you're just joining us and you're wondering what the hell are you talking about, Spadoni, Adrian Wojnarowski, ESPN, finalizing, check that, the USA Basketball is finalizing his 2024 Paris Olympics roster. Steph, LeBron, KD, Jason Tatum, Embiid, Booker, Halliburton, Edwards, Drew Holiday, Bam Adebayo, and Anthony Davis. And the team may initially keep one open spot. I remember Draymond a couple months ago was kind of upset that he's not going to be on the team. Well, if I'm Steve Kerr, I'm keeping him far away. Stiff arm. Maybe that one open spot will be Austin Reeves, who Steve Kerr quoted yesterday when he was talking to the media. Huh, interesting. Speaking of interesting, Ramona Shelburne on with Willard and Dibbs yesterday, talking about the future of this team. And then, listen, I get it. We're locked in. Kings Warriors tonight, 7 o'clock tip, right here on 95.7 The Game. Coverage of that starts at 6 o'clock, Warriors live, but coverage really is all day long. Starts with the morning roast, starts here, ends with Evan Giddings taking your calls of jubilation or sadness and despair. There is no in between. That's what sudden death is. This is a Game 7, Part 2, basically, of the Kings-Warriors playoff series of last year. No Malik Monk, no Kevin Huerter, no Gary Payton II, who was out today, and a potential second play-in Friday with a calf strain. Those are tricky, and you have to be very careful. We know that better than anyone when it comes to calf strains here in the Bay Area. Very difficult to maneuver around, and Gary Payton just hasn't been healthy. He's older. I don't know what we would call that trade for James Wiseman. I mean, we needed to move off him, I guess. But has this trade really worked out in the Warriors' favor? I'm not so sure. 888-957-9570. Ramona Shelburne talking about the Golden State Warriors' young assets that other teams want.
I mean, they have their draft picks. They have young players like Moody. Who a lot of people really like Moody. People like Kuminga. I don't think they'll ever trade Kuminga, or they'll really fight hard not to. People like Pregame. I don't think they would want to trade Pregame. Same thing with Trace. But people are going to call about their young players. Those are good players. Especially in contracts like Wiggins' contract, like Chris Paul's contract is interesting. Even some of the other guys on the bench, like Looney or Gary Payton, they have the kind of assets that teams want. That's. They don't have albatross contracts on the Warriors. I actually think for as expensive as that team is, they're actually very well positioned to recalibrate.
Speaking of one of the young assets, Brandon Pregame. Been a very good selection by Mike Dunleavy in his first draft as GM of the Golden State Warriors, taking over for president of basketball operations Bob Myers, who obviously working for ESPN now and has a huge Thursday next week NFL draft. Who are the Washington Commanders going to be take? Second overall pick. Is it going to be Jaden Daniels, Heisman Trophy winner at LSU? Is it going to be Drake May out of UNC? Is it going to be, I don't know, JJ McCarthy, or all of a sudden is going to be a top 5 lock? Just a joke, by the way. It's just, and maybe you know what? I will eat humble pie with some whipped cream on top if JJ McCarthy is a stud. I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. Watched a lot of Michigan football. I never once came away saying, oh man, that JJ McCarthy, I tell you what, I want that guy to be my starting quarterback next year. No. They said, wow, that's a very good defense, and they are very good at controlling the game with the running game and Blake Corum. That's it. That's what I saw out of Michigan football. Be that as it may, Bob Myers, Adam Peters have a huge selection next week. But Brandon Pregame, huge selection. Trace Jackson Davis, massive hit. These two guys getting this many minutes and being key contributors on this team for as long as they have been speaks volumes to the culture that is currently instilled in the Golden State Warriors and the leadership that has been shown by guys like Chris Paul, again, another Mike Dunleavy acquisition, Steve Kerr, and I'll give credit to Steph, Dre, and Clay, who have not gotten a lot of credit in the past when it comes to developing young guys because they really haven't done it very well. Jordan Poole, give him credit for that. Hell, Moses Moody, who again, with the Gary Payton II injury, maybe he gets some run tonight. And I'd be curious tonight, and apparently the reports are from Anthony Slater on 95.7 The Game, Warriors Insider, and covers the team for The Athletic, that Trace Jackson Davis is going to be starting. I wonder how long that lasts, and if they pivot to Looney if Sabonis is balling. That's a tough situation. I get it. Pregame and Trace Jackson Davis have played well. This is a different animal. The playoffs is different. They will be getting hunted by the other team's big boys. They will look at you like food. And it's a fight or flight response. Either you're up for the task or you're not. And if Trace Jackson Davis looks like he's a little hesitant early on, maybe you go to Looney early because he showed what he can do against Domantas Sabonis last year in the playoffs. He was a problem. Guy was getting 20 boards left and right. But Brandon Pregame was on Sirius XM NBA radio yesterday and making his case for the all-rookie team. Take a listen.
You said there's not 10 better. I don't think there's 5 better. I think I deservedly should be on the first team, and I think Trey should be on the second team. But like I said before, I mean, if you could redraft, you wouldn't take me at 19 and you wouldn't take Trace at 57. So I think it's just a stamp of approval, and it kind of goes to show, how much time and work we've put in through the summer and through training camp, and now everybody's getting to see it on a global stage.
There are not 5 rookies better than me. Brandon Pregame. We'll get into that on the other side. 888-957-9570. You like the confidence, or is it cockiness, or is it both? We'll discuss that next. Also, final thoughts on Warriors-Kings tonight. Speak now or forever hold your peace. What is the matchup going to be come Friday? Will the Warriors be included in that? On 95.7 The Game.
The Jeep Celebration event is going on right now with exceptional offers on a wide selection of Jeep brand vehicles. If you're looking to supercharge your next adventure, look no further than America's best-selling plug-in hybrid, the Jeep Wrangler 4xE. Or choose the luxurious Grand Cherokee or Grand Cherokee 4xE. All celebrations must come to an end.
Francisco Historical Society, giving our history a great future. Become a member today.
Dub Nation, this is Tim Roy, and you're listening to the Pregame Show on 95.7 The Game.
Welcome back. Pregame show, Joe Spadoni. Thanks, Tim. Tim will be on the call tonight. Warriors Kings out at Golden One Center. 9-10 matchup of the play-in tournament in the West. How are we feeling about this game? Dub Nation, Kings fans, anyone. 888-957-9570. Who's under the most pressure tonight to perform? Who do you feel most confident in? Now, both of that, and as a great radio host in this market used to say, two things could be equally true. The guy that's under the most pressure could have the biggest game. And I always go with the big boy. And that's easy to say. I never go, I think it's Klay Thompson. Draymond Green's under the most pressure. It's always the guy that gets all the blame or all the glory. It's Steph Curry. If Steph Curry has a big game, they win. If he struggles, they may lose. It is as simple and concrete as that. And people don't like simplicity. People want to go in depth sometimes. People want to go outside of the box. I get it. I go KISS in this situation. Keep it simple, stupid. Shout out math. That's what we do. Keep it simple. The Warriors will only go as far as Steph Curry will take them in these playoffs. And right now, it's a little, I'm not going to say shaky with Steph, but in his last 10, these are his numbers. 25 points he's averaging. Almost 5 boards, 6 assists. Okay. Averaging almost 3 turnovers a game, but that's what he does. His career, he's averaging 3 turnovers. It's just what he does at this point. Can't go 7 or 8 turnovers. We don't need that game, Steph. If that happens, then they will be in trouble. He's shooting 47.3% from the field, 45.3% from beyond the arc. Pretty good. But the wear and tear of this season has shown in these last few games, at least to me. Turnovers, I believe, are a product of wear and tear. He's gassed at times. That's why they took him off. That's why they didn't play him on Sunday in a game that honestly was meaningful. If the Lakers or the Kings had lost, which they didn't, they both blew them out. And again, you're playing the Salt Lake City Jazz. They stunk. It was a G League team, and you handled business there anyways. But how are we feeling about number 30 tonight, the chef named Steph Curry? Because that's what it comes down to ultimately for me. I think, and I've been bearing the lead, it's 5:51 a.m., I think he has a big performance. I think the Warriors win this game. And I think they will be playing the New Orleans Pelicans come Friday. And that's going to be a more difficult matchup to me. That's going to be a massive offensive explosion on Friday to me. Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. And I get it. Andrew Wiggins is a guy I also haven't bring up. I'm seeing Andrew Wiggins a lot on the Xfinity mobile text line, 888-957-9570. What about Wiggins from the 650? Well, Wiggins, I can't count on him consistently enough. So I can't put that guy up there as I really need a big game from him, because you know what? We've been saying that all year long, and then when you need him, he's not there. When you least expect him, he does it. So maybe he goes out and has a big game tonight and balls out. That's the mismatch I am looking at, is those two athletic wings for the Golden State Warriors. And how much run does a guy like Jonathan Kuminga get? Because I believe Kuminga and Wiggins, if they are both on, they can exploit that Kings defense. Now, Keon Ellis, he's been rising up, undrafted guard out of Alabama. Maybe he can give Stephen Curry some problems. Davion Mitchell gave Steph some problems in last year's playoffs. And where's Sabonis and Fox at, that tandem? If you could limit them, and specifically Sabonis like you did a lot in last year's series, I'm not going to say roll. I say you pull away in the fourth, potentially in the early fourth quarter, mid-fourth, and wrap this thing up, and they're heading to New Orleans. I think that's the perfect scenario, and I think that's what happens tonight for the Golden State Warriors. I think it'll be tight a lot of the game. I think both teams will be tight to start. I don't anticipate a blowout in the first quarter because you know what? I can't trust any lead when it comes to the Golden State Warriors or the Sacramento Kings this year. You know, Steiny brought up a great point yesterday on Steiny and Goo. He's like, I have not seen more blown 15-point leads in the NBA in its existence than I have this season. And it's a great point. I swear I'm looking at every other game and it's like, oh, 15 points, that's nothing. That's a couple threes, then you're back in it. That's 2 threes. Oh, timeout. It truly is incredible. The amount of blown leads. Hell, I can go to the Celtics blowing a lead. What was that, like 30 points or something to the Atlanta Hawks? One of the biggest blown leads ever. The Kings blew leads left and right. Warriors, goes without saying, they've blown a lead against the Kings. Do we forget that? Again, different teams, I get it. Malik Monk, Kevin Hurt, I get all that. But no lead is safe is what I'm going to say, especially in a play-in when it's do or die and the stakes are this high. 888-957-9570. But if they do lose, because we have to be prepared for all scenarios, I don't think Warriors fans are prepared for the season to end tonight. I don't think anyone is prepared because you always think about the future. And the future for a lot of Warriors fans is, hey, we're going to go on a run. Not, we're going to be out on our ass and we have some major decisions to decide on. But Monty Poole talking about if the Warriors lose in this play-in game, hell, either on this one or on Friday, would it be a failure? Take a listen. Monty Poole, NBC Sports Bay Area.
To me, if they lose, this season has been a disaster. Everything from the Chris Paul acquisition was all about the postseason. They didn't bring in Chris Paul because they wanted to win 55 games. They brought in Chris Paul so that when we get to the postseason, we have a guy on our bench who can lead our bench crew that's reliable, low turnover guy, high assist guy, an orchestrator, an organizer. And so if they're one and done, that's a colossal failure. To me, they got to get through at least 2 games. And I know the second game's going to be a lot tougher. But if they don't, to me, it says, okay, guys, it's time to start turning the page.
Would it be a colossal failure if the Warriors failed to reach a playoff series? I believe so. This is a team with Stephen Curry, future Hall of Famer, Draymond Green, future Hall of Famer, Klay Thompson, future Hall of Famer, and Chris Paul, future Hall of Famer. That is 4 of them, if my math is correct. And it is. Hall of Fame head coach. Hell, 5 right there. Yes, you need to at least get to a playoff series. Then, if you lose to a Thunder squad that is young, big, athletic, you know what? I think you can wrap your heads around we need to make some changes regardless. I think so. Because I think the public opinion from Warriors fans, the overarching theme from a lot of them is, hey, we could beat the Thunder or the Timberwolves. But what happens if you don't? What happens if you look old? What happens if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Chet Holmgren, the Torture Chamber, Lou Dort, both Jalen Williams, the Josh Giddey, all those guys. What if they just look better than you? I think that would be a tough pill to swallow, but you could. Losing a play-in game against the Sacramento Kings, I think that would be, seriously, an undermanned Kings team we lost to end our season, potentially ending the dynasty in this run. Now, the dynasty, as you heard from Monty Poole, and you're going to hear from right here, he believes that in 2019.
let's not get into the dynasty talk because the dynasty is already over. That ended in 2019. Yeah, they won a championship since, but dynasty sort of implies that you are winning. You're in the thick of it every single year, like the Spurs were. They didn't win, 20 championships, but they were a dangerous team for all those years. So I think what's at stake for the Warriors is that they got to figure out who they are as a team. 82 games usually is enough to figure that out, but in this instance, it's not.
888-957-9570. Start lining them up for Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky in the Morning Roast. They're going to be on here in about a minute. And again, my prediction tonight, Warriors-Kings tip-off, 7 o'clock at Golden One Center in Sacramento. Our coverage starting at 6 o'clock with Warriors Live with Evan Giddings. It's going to be Warriors-Pelicans on Friday. I think the Lakers are going to win. They're going to be taking on the Denver Nuggets. And we got at least one more week talking dubs in the playoff / play-in. And that's going to be a much more difficult matchup for the Golden State Warriors. But tonight, they handle business. They're just the more deep team. They're the more experienced team. And they're just better than the Sacramento Kings. Sometimes it's as easy as that. And they got the better player, Stephen Curry. I go with the team with the better player in the play-in. It's as simple as that. Sorry, De'Aaron Fox. Sorry, DeMonte. If we're doing a hierarchy, though, it's Steph, then Fox. That is it, right there. And hell, Sabonis, if that's your cup of tea, you might go 3. But the Warriors got Steph. They don't. That's it. Night-night Sacramento, and night-night for the pregame show, Joe Spadoni. Morning Roast next, 95.7 The Game.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by